Matthew, congratulations on the film. It's got a big heart and it really wears it on its sleeve as well.
Well, thank you very much, Freda. Thank you.
It's an inspirational story about an equally inspirational man, Greg Townsend. How did the story come your way, and what was it about it that made you want to play him?
Well, the script was sent to me by a friend that I'd worked with, Daniel Hanna, who's the co-writer and director of the film. We had done a film together called Mississippi or Miss Virginia. And I think he's a very talented young director. And it's always wonderful when you get the opportunity to work a second time with the director because it gives you a shorthand that you're able to communicate with each other much more efficiently and quickly. And so what I loved about the script was that it's a story about not giving up on young people, that in America today, when people make mistakes and the culture that we live in today, we're so quick to dismiss people and cancel them, and I don't think that that's good for any of us to not be forgiving. I think that forgiveness is essential to the continued evolution of human behavior and human community.
And that certainly comes across in the film. You've had a hugely varied career from Private Joker onwards, really. What is it that you look for in a role? What makes a part jump off the page for you?
Well, if it's a story that gives me the opportunity to learn something and then be able to share that information with an audience, in the United States Constitution, it says the pursuit of happiness. The important part of that is the pursuit. It's not about the attainment. And what is it that gives people the greatest happiness generally is when we're in service to other people, when we help other people, who've slipped and fallen. And I've certainly made mistakes in my life, and I'm grateful to those people that forgave me and helped me to become a better person. My brother was in a state school like this when he was in 16 years old. He ended up in a state school, and I'd go to visit him with my mother. And what I saw from those people that were working with my brother was that they were kind, and they knew that he was going through a difficult time, and he just needed some guidance and to get on with his life. And my brother is a good person. He's a loving father and a productive person in society. But I think a big part of that was that they didn't give up on him when he was a teenager.
And Greg certainly doesn't give up during the course of the film and throughout his life from what I know. Did you get to spend some time with Greg and get to know with him as part of your research?
Yeah, Greg was with us every step of every pedal of the movie. It was interesting because he would always ride his bicycle to the set, even when we were up. When we did the vertical mile, he would ride the bicycle. He would just get up an hour and a half early and start out on that journey. So he was a great inspiration. He's built from a different kind of material than I am.
Clearly.
But he's really strong, and I know that he really loves the movie. It was uncomfortable for him, the story about him and his father, but he knew that it was necessary because he said he didn't realize until his father died that the journey that he was taking the kids on was a journey that he needed to make, that his broken childhood that he was trying to fix was what he was trying to do for these young kids on this bicycle journey. That it wasn't just him trying to fix the kids, it was him trying to fix himself.
Yeah. Now, I believe you're a keen cyclist yourself. And of course, this time last year, you were still in London because you were on stage in To Kill a Mockingbird. So I wondered if you actually tried pedaling around the streets of London while you were here.
No, the producers of the play and my wife absolutely refused to let me ride a bicycle uh, to and from the theater. It was My wife thought it was really important just to walk, to decompress after, because the play was 3 hours long, and so
Yeah.
just to sort of decompress and walk home and have a fresh, some fresh air before I got back to the flat and got ready to do it all over again. That I have to say that working in the West End, I grew up in Utah. I was born in Loma Linda, California. For me to be working in the West End at the John Gielgud Theater, doing a story written by Aaron Sorkin and written by the famous Harper Lee, it was the absolute highlight of my life. And the London audiences were so kind and generous, and standing ovations and packed houses. It was a great experience for me.
It doesn't get much better than that, does it really?
No,
So,
it doesn't.
but
Yeah.
the film, of course, is about road cycling, which is very different to that sort of cycling anyway. I wondered if you had to do any special training for the film and whether you came away with a few cuts and bruises as a result.
Yeah, on the first day of filming, I'm not used to clipping in. That's where you lock your feet into the pedals. And we were just waiting to say action, and I was trying to balance on the bike, and I lost my balance and fell down on a sharp piece of steel, a gate track that was in the ground, and I almost broke my forearm. That's why I wear long sleeves in the film, because I was hiding a giant bruise that was on my arm. It could have, I don't know what we would have done if I had broken my arm on the first day of filming. But fortunately, we didn't have any more accidents over the course of the film. And as you say, I'm a commuter. I don't wear the lycra and go on road racing.
Yeah.
I use the bicycle to get around New York City, as a
So
commuter.
you're working with four young actors throughout the film, and of course, it's not the first time that you've actually worked with a younger cast, because of course, Stranger Things being the obvious example. How did you develop a bond with that foursome in the film? Because you needed that very much for the story.
Well, fortunately, because I had done Stranger Things, those young people, that's really all they knew me from. They didn't know Full Metal Jacket. They didn't know the 30 years before of my career. So my relationship to them was, oh my God, we're working with Dr. Brenner. The Papa's taking us on a bicycle ride. But I suppose I learned it from Michael Douglas, listening to Michael Douglas talk about the professionalism on a set, that if you're number one on the call sheet, you should be the first person that's on the set. You should be prepared. You should have made choices. You should know your lines. So that's how I set an example for those kids. And I made it clear to the director that because they're young, that we shouldn't have any mobile phones on the set, because they're a distraction and an addiction that young people have. Not just young people, but so many people have an addiction to their damn phones today, checking their social media, checking their emails, checking their messages. And what we needed to be focused on was the job at hand, which was difficult and dangerous, because we were all riding the bicycles. So it was very important that we stay focused and be prepared, because we had such a small budget to make the film and a small amount of time to make it. So it was essential that we all be working together to accomplish a shared goal.
You've mentioned how your co-stars see you very much as Dr. Brenner. How does it feel to be reaching a whole new, younger audience for you as an actor?
Well, careers are like roller coasters, there's lots of ups and downs and ups and downs and ups and downs. As you say, I've been doing this for almost 4 decades, and I still don't understand why something is successful and something isn't. You know, everybody comes into work with the same enthusiasm, the excitement. We have the same equipment, cameras, lenses, sound department, costumes, makeup, and everybody comes together with great enthusiasm to do something magical. And sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. And it's not for lack of trying. I work just as hard on something that's successful as something that's not. And I don't know what the chemistry of success is, but what the lesson is that when you approach the work, that you always have to come in with the excitement and enthusiasm and the belief that you're going to do something wonderful. You never know.
You don't. And do you think we'll ever see Dr. Brenner again?
I hope so. I went to London and saw the stage play that was going on, and so I mean that was a younger Dr. Brenner. But I've always thought it was fascinating. How did Brenner come to be? How would somebody approach the government and say, I want to do these experiments with young kids and get a green light, you know, get permission to do something like that? What are the qualifications for somebody who does something like that? And I think that I always thought that what would be interesting is if Dr. Brenner was number zero, you know, that he had his own special skills, and that's how he was able to help develop them in other people.
Yeah,
You know,
he's
I think,
definitely got a backstory. He's
yeah.
definitely got one.
Yeah.
Matthew, it's been great to talk to you. Thank you so much.